has just joined Burnit. They've signed up for group personal training. They've had their 1 hour onboarding session. They're good to go. What is your advice to them for how they can get the most out of their sessions?
Right. Say no, it's right on the board. I mean, we can come back to it many, many times, but what's the one thing that we talked about in episode 1?
Showing
Literally,
up.
just showing up. I mean,
that's it, isn't it?
so GPT, we kind of shorten as that. It's group PT. Obviously, we've got a lot of clients, and it is one of our more all-in kind of like take you by the hand, give you the entire map service that we offer. It's deep dive, right? But I feel like a lot of clients may not get the most out of it, even if they do show up. So I think there are many, many, many things that our clients can do just to go that extra mile. Just, they're obviously investing a lot of, financially and their time in it. So to get more out of it, I think one of the big things would be outside education. Mm-hmm. Like I'm talking about like movements, and obviously we give them a new program for a brand new 8-week, 6-week cycle or whatever it is. Go home and study in that movement like thoroughly, even if it's just at body weight and watching.
But something like a deadlift.
For sure, deadlifts, squats, even push-ups, like the basic push-pull squat. And obviously, pull-ups take a little bit more, work outside. So I think education for sure with group PT, outside of group PT is super important. Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, for sure. I think I've been training for a long time. Started off, I've been strength training for multiple years now. You don't stop learning. Don't stop learning. And even when I've had periods of time where I've worked quite closely with a PT myself, personal trainer, I still want to know. I want to know that my body's, and I think because I've had some injuries and stuff as well, that's made me more keen to know what I'm doing. There's a lot of bad stuff out there, and I sometimes think that's the best way to learn.
It is.
Like, yeah. I was talking with my sister. One of my sisters trains a lot, the other one not as much. And I was following this one person on Instagram. No one at Burnit, can I just caveat that?
Of course.
But a personal trainer that I follow who, let's say, doesn't always prioritise the client's form and is really quite bad. And I was so appalled by something I saw. I was like, literally grabbed my phone. I was like, oh my God. And my sister was like, what's that? And I turned the phone to face her and I was like, look at this guy's deadlift. He's going to break his back. And then straight away, and this is someone that like doesn't train very much. She has a little bit. She was like, oh, well, why is his back like that? And he should do this. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, she already knows. But sometimes I'm not saying type into Google deadlift fails, because you'll probably see some stuff you don't want to see. Oh my word,
honestly.
But
rabbit hole.
Seeing videos where as well people aren't doing and being like, okay, well, what's wrong with that? And then watching. Not all people who have good bodies are lifting properly. Can I just say that? So it is better to, look for recommended coaches. If you have Instagram, 2 coaches, one coach that I can really recommend is a guy called Mark Carroll. His partner is like a bodybuilding, like bikini champion. But he is like, he doesn't even really care about aesthetics. He's just like form and technique and how to get the most out of movements you're doing. Yeah. And then, his name's Mark Carroll, and then going on from that, like, he then follows a lot of other people who are great. But it's just people, you want to kind of be looking at people who really are teaching really well, because obviously in group personal training, like, we're there to teach and to coach, but where we also want to be like working as well, it would be incredible if before the session people just dedicated 5 minutes to kind of just reminding themselves of how to deadlift or how to squat, because then we can just work hard, we can just push. And, obviously I love correcting people's form and teaching them, but it does take quite a while sometimes. And if you want to be squatting heavy, if you want to be deadlifting heavy, if you want to be kind of getting muscle mass and getting stronger and fitter, the execution of exercises is really important. So I don't think there's any harm with just typing onto Google top tips for deadlifting.
So exactly, and I've said education outside of it is really important. Although we as coaches, I mean, with Burn It, we're on the form, right? We'll teach them and guide them and show them exactly how to do a deadlift that I'm talking about. Then they can go away and type in something like, okay, if I want to go heavier, then I need to be able to learn how to activate my my glutes and my hamstrings and fire up a bit. So how do I fire up my hamstrings and my glutes a little bit more before? And then when they come to group PT, while everyone else is doing their warm-up, they can do their own unique specific warm-up, or they can stand outside and do it. And that's the kind of education I'm talking. At the same time, with the guidance that, they can rest assured that the movement that they're doing in a deadlift or a pull-up or whatever it may be, or a squat, they are going to do it right because we're going to coach them to do it correctly. Or, if it's not that they're doing it wrong, it's just that they could do it a lot better. Well, that's why we've got this whole cycle to figure that out before you start adding a ton of weight on there. But they know the foundation of that movement, so that when they go away, it's for them to take on that education and know what's bad. They can generally, like, your sister or, any of your friend can see that is not the way to do it. Get rid of that rubbish. That is a little bit, something from there could be useful. That's useful. Let's try it, let's apply it, let's build it into my own deadlift, and then let's take it into group PT and see how that plays out.
Yeah, and even before you get to that sort of outside education, like what your trainer tells you, don't be afraid to write it down.
Yeah,
like, I know for my sessions, I make sure that every client who's attending has their program card and a pen. Now, if you want to count every reps every week, you can, but the pen is there for you to scribble on the card. And I got so excited the other day, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I was seeing a few clients had written, like one client had written ideas for glutes activation that she'd heard me say.
Brilliant.
So I clearly had been like, if you need to activate your glutes, do X, Y, Z. Now, obviously, I say things quite quickly because we don't want to spend 15 minutes activating glutes, which would be optimal, but we can't because we don't have that time.
Yeah.
So to see that she'd written on her card, glutes activation, blah, 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 I was like, ah! And then someone else, I've got this tip for the deadlift where, I don't know whether this is my tip or whether someone else told me this, so I might be claiming someone else's tip here. But to activate the lats in the right way and the shoulders, to think about having oranges under your armpits and you're trying to make orange juice. Nice. So you're squeezing down so tight and so hard right from the bottom of the movement.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes I start screaming about orange juice in sessions and clients that don't know me are like, what's wrong with her? But, for clients that do know that teaching point, right. I'm like, make the orange juice. Come on, orange juice. And essentially it's squeezing down, so writing things like that underneath stuff. I saw a client had written on her card the other day, push through the heels in the squat, not the toes. And I was like, okay, things that, I talk a lot. I do like the sound of my own voice. But when I'm saying these things, I don't say it because I'm like, oh, carry on. I'm saying it because I want you to do it properly. Yeah. I don't want you to get injured. I want you to be able to lift heavy and lift really well. So I'm not saying it because I want to open my mouth and enjoy the sound of my own voice as much as I do. I'm saying it because I'm like, come on, let's not get injured, but let's get the most out of the movement. So what we're saying, write it down. Write it down,
take on, again, even though we are their coaches, take on board what we're saying and decide whether all of what we're saying is useful, because some of what we're saying is not. And there are people out there who are better than us. And so we're humble enough to, and any good coach is going to be humble enough to say, I'll teach you everything I can, but you could always learn more. So, spend that time, invest that time and learn how to, in a front squat, I'll have so much time to, help you get to that point where you can get your elbows high enough through just lat activation, because that's what that's about, as opposed to just getting my elbow higher and hurting my wrist in a front squat. Spend time on it, bring it back, and again, just put it into play and see what happens. So education, I think, absolutely is something that people do, but I don't think people do enough, and that's definitely something I would recommend.
And it's one of those things that I don't expect people to study outside of GPT. It's hard enough sometimes to show up because life is busy. Yeah. But if we're talking from a point of view of training as opposed to just exercising.
I love that, yeah. Yes,
Training.
yeah. Say that a lot.
Now, training isn't just you show up for an hour and you get spoon-fed. Training is, yes, I'm being led by the trainer. This is what I'm paying for. This is my expectation of what they're going to give me. But when I show up to my personal training sessions in the past, which I'm paying a lot of money for, I don't expect to be spoon-fed by my trainer. And like people can say, but you are a trainer, so you already know stuff. No. The stuff he was teaching me, I was a novice. Yes, I know how to train in other ways, but what he was teaching me, I was a novice. However, the advice that he was giving me with, I would suggest that a couple of times a week you do this, or like, get here 15 minutes early and do blah, blah. Like, I would do, because where I am paying a lot of money, I want to make the most out of that. So I know the view might be, well, you should just tell me what to do from start to finish because that's what I pay for. Absolutely. And for me, I will do that for you. But if you really want that extra 5 or 10% out of the session, be prepared for what you're coming in to do.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. That's a nice segue into what I want to say next.
Good, say it.
So, I love the word segue. It's such a great... Have you seen a segue? This...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's the same meaning.
They're not so popular anymore, are they? It's all about the electric scooters.
They are everywhere. Anyway.
They're terrifying.
Next thing I'd like to say, I think would be really, really important is, and this is an easy one because it doesn't really take much thought, it's just pre-session preparation and post-session reflection.
Yeah.
In terms of pre-session preparation, it could be something as simple as, what is my goal for this hour of group PT? My goal this week might vary throughout the cycle. What do I want to achieve in this next hour? Okay, and that could literally be something as, not just I want to get my first pull-up, but yes, I want to activate my lats a lot more. That's my goal. I'm going to activate my lats and not pull through my biceps. That is my only goal for this session, and everything else is a byproduct, 100%. A great byproduct. So that's definitely something. And then post, of course, reflection. Look at that goal. Did I achieve that goal? Yes. How can I improve it? Did I achieve that goal? No. What do I need to do next time? Did I achieve that goal? I think so. We'll write things down and track it and then see if you can improve next time.
See, when I hear you say that, I'm playing a bit of a devil's advocate here.
Love it.
My week is busy enough. I just about managed to show up to GPT. And I think I do really well because I train twice a week and I come to group personal training. And the hour is already stressful enough. Like, I've left the kids, I've left the partner, I've rushed out, I'm probably running late, I'm flustered. Work's been busy. I thought about cancelling, I didn't cancel. And now you're telling me that I should prep before the session.
Exactly,
and
mate.
I should then... And I know that's what some people are thinking, and that was my first reaction when you said it. However, the more you feel invested in something, the more encouraged you are to really kind of take ownership of that. Yep. So it's like going back to, I know we've spoken about, the plant-based diet. It's that sort of like defensiveness and all those reasons why you shouldn't be doing that. Yep. Why, well, I'm too busy. Well, I don't want to think about plant-based. Like, it's going to be more money. Like, I don't have time. I'm actually too tired. Sure. But is it worth the investment or not? Is it worth giving it a go? And what's the harm in saying, okay, the next 2 GPT sessions I go to, I'm going to follow Jeff's advice, and I'm just going to take 10 minutes to think about what I need to do beforehand. I'm going to take no longer than 30 seconds to think afterwards what could have been better and reflect.
That's all it takes,
Just do it once.
Exactly.
Give it a go.
Give it a go. And again,
then if it's not for you, you don't feel like you benefited from that, no problem. But how can you say it if you haven't even tried? Yeah.
And you are invested. Like if you're here and it is a premium, it's one of those things that obviously you're going to, like we said earlier, it's all in. Yeah, make time and take time to invest in yourself, because, and that investment, that pre-workout preparation could be as simple as, I am just going to give it my all, my 100%, regardless of like I've had a crappy day and like I'm knackered, I'm still going to show up and I'm going to give it 100%. That's my goal. That's my only goal. Really, really, really important.
For sure. I also, one of my biggest things about GPT, and I do say this to people in the fitness reviews, how can I phrase this? Don't see your 1 hour GPT session as, let me burn as many calories as possible to lose weight.
Yeah.
Now, obviously you do want to burn as many calories as possible, because if that, you've probably worked hard if that's the case. However, a lot of people say to me, oh, you know, when we strength train, like I look at my smartwatch and I've only burnt like maybe 200 calories in the whole session. Or like, you know, theme of the week is cardio, and they're like, oh, today was great because
I got out of breath.
I burnt 400
and I was sweating so much on the way out.
Instead of, you know, 200. Now, okay, let's look at it this way. Let's say in the hour, it is about burning calories, and you manage to burn, which isn't possible, but let's say it is, you manage to burn 1,000 calories. Huge amount of calories. That would have been the most intense session of your entire life. That would have been crazy. It's not possible, but let's say it is. That's not going to help you lose weight. 1,000 calories, like, that's a sandwich and a packet of crisps. So when it comes to just looking at it as just a weight loss thing, even if you're burning more calories than is humanly possible, that doesn't mean you're going to lose weight.
Yeah.
Like, if you're on a weight loss journey and it is a thing of like, my health needs to be improved by losing 5 or 10 or 15 stone of extra weight, if you only see the GPT sessions as the place where that happens, firstly, you won't be successful, because it's what happens outside of GPT that counts. It's your diet that counts. It's not your training. And second of all the joy that training is supposed to bring won't bring it at all. Because you're constantly looking at a watch and, oh, how many calories did I burn? And you're thinking about how much weight you're losing from that session. Now, often after a training session, you're heavier because you're holding water. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's, how quick is it to eat 1,000 calories after, especially after you've trained when you're friggin' hungry?
Yeah.
So if you're on a weight loss journey, fitness review. Have a fitness review. Okay,
that's a nice segue into what I had next. And it's not just have a fitness review, it's friggin' enjoy a fitness review. Look forward to it. This is a wealth of knowledge. And this is the thing, like preparation and reflection and all the things that you could do. Ultimately, what we want to do is we want that workout, that 1 hour of exercise or training, that 1 hour of training, not just to be an hour of training, it's to be an hour of it's an experience. It's something that you're going to learn from, you're going to benefit from, and you can look back on it and you'll remember that specific workout because this happened, because I did this and I achieved this, or because I failed at this so I set the bar higher next week and then I achieved it. It's now an experience. It makes me want to show up more, it makes me want to reflect more, and it makes me want to eat better. So when it comes
to based on that, you do hit weight loss
100%. You hit all the goals.
You do look better. Okay.
You hit all the goals.
Because we're not saying like those things don't matter. If you are on a weight loss journey and you need to lose weight for health, I'm not saying that's not important and that we can't help in that. But like by enjoying the process, by being consistent, by showing up, by not being preoccupied with the weight loss, but thinking about performing exercise as well, or thinking about having fun, the more you have fun, the more consistent you're going to be, which will result in weight loss anyway. And
fun, again, it adds to the experience, that positive experience. You know, like I was a stupid example, but you can go for a haircut in a hairdresser's and it's a done and dusted, like short back and size 5 minutes, or you can go to a hairdresser's and they'll do, it's again, stupid, they'll take half an hour. They might give you a bit of a trim. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just, it becomes more of an experience and something that you would want to go back and do. And
definitely. If you don't enjoy it, you're not going to carry
on. And this is the thing with the fitness review is I think a lot of people see fitness reviews as, I don't think I'm ready to because I haven't achieved my goals yet since we last spoke. Show up anyway, because this is where you could learn one game changer. And that could come down to not just the training and the performance and your movement or even nutrition, but it could be watching less TV at night, or putting your screen away before and preparing your body for sleep.
I had that conversation with someone today. Those things are more important.
Absolutely.
Because if you've got energy, because you've said, okay, well, the boundary I'm going to have for myself is once I'm in bed, I'm going to set my alarm and then the phone goes to the side. I'm not going to be scrolling until 1 a.m. It's going to be 11 p.m, lights out, and, you know, if that works for you. That isn't directly connected to training or to weight loss or to anything. But of course, that will have a knock-on positive effect, because you may wake up and you may think, oh, GPT 7 a.m. it's not such a hard song. I actually feel kind of...
Feel pretty good, mate. And I'm eating plant-based. I feel frigging good right now.
Yeah, for real.
Sleep, nutrition, physical exercise,
but we can't do that
foundation.
in the 1 hour GPT, though, can
Foundation. What's that?
But that's why I'm saying we can't do that in the 1 hour session. That's why it's got to be stuff around that.
Completely.
And the fitness reviews, honestly, like, they're only supposed to be 15 minutes.
I love
20
to half an hour generally, and I tend not to book them back to back now. You know, especially when I'll name drop. When I get on so well with those. Karen Aldridge. Hey, Karen Aldridge.
If you've got a fitness
she
review,
is.
Karen,
I tell you what, I could chat to her all day. And we actually had one the other day, and it was only 15 minutes because I was really pushed, and I was like, I don't want it to end. It's like so much fun. And that for me, and again, it's with a lot of clients as well. They get an experience. I'm getting an experience. I friggin' love it. And you want to go?
I always leave pumped after a fitness
God,
review.
I love fitness reviews. Fitness reviews are great. So, advice is enjoy them and learn from them and apply the things that again, take what you think is useful and try it. You know?
And one thing about the fitness reviews, can I just say, like you've mentioned before, when sometimes I offer them to someone and they're like, I've been really inconsistent recently, or you know, they'll be like, but I don't want to be weighed. First of all, I can't stress enough, even if your goal is weight loss, if you do not want to be weighed and the scales make you feel a certain way, like, you are under no obligation to step on scales. I know it's triggering for a lot of people. Regardless of whether you need to lose weight or not, you do not. No one's going to make you do that. There are other ways of measuring progress. You don't have to do the measurements either. It is helpful, but it's also like when people say, "Oh, I'll have a fitness review in 6 weeks' time. I just want to be a bit more consistent first." No. That's the perfect time to have a fitness review. To sit down with someone and be like, my kids suck, my job sucks, my partner sucks, everything's stressful, I'm really depressed.
No, not yet. No.
Shut up.
Please.
And to be like, and this is why I'm not consistent, because you know what? I'll probably say to you, I understand it all.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we've said this before, we're very different. I'm never motivated. I'm not motivated to train. However, what I can offer is some little tips and little advice of what to do when you're not motivated, how to be disciplined, not to hit it all at once, not to go in all guns blazing, but what are those small steps, and we can have a conversation about it. So if you're not being consistent, if you haven't shown up in months or weeks, please talk to us. When we reach out to you, say, book it in. Don't worry if you feel you've put on 6 or 7 kilos that you didn't want to. Don't worry if you haven't shown up to a session in ages, you forgot to cancel when you feel embarrassed. Let's just go again.
Okay,
Let's
absolutely.
go again.
And these are all small steps, and they are small optional steps for Group PT members, but just take one of them and try it, or improve and build on it and put it into play and see what happens, because your overall experience in Group PT is only going to be more positive, and you're just going to learn more.
But even training and life in general, like
100%.
It's not like a linear experience, is it? It's not like an aeroplane taking off smoothly where you just get higher and higher and higher and then you reach this point of ecstasy. No, like you take off and then there's a bit of turbulence and then like you're like, oh God, an engine's failed, shit, are we going to crash? And then you come down and then it's up, like even for, and I'm sure you must be this, it's up and down like anything in life. But if you're generally moving in some sort of kind of positive direction, or when you hit a massive crash, if you're able to, okay, let's see if we can go again, that is how you're going to make progress. It's not linear for anyone. No. It's not just a constant going up and up and up until, you know, all your dreams come true. That's not life. That
was a much better analogy than my hairdresser one. I couldn't really build on that, to be honest. And anyway, hair, talk to me about the hair. It's looking good. Cut short, mate.
I know, I can't stop touching it. That's probably why I've lost weight.
Absolutely.
My hair was so thick, I've lost about a kilo.
Amazing. I feel like we can build on this one in future. I think this was a good one.
We've got to talk to the ladies who have been pregnant. Because as I was thinking about that area, I'm now in no way, I haven't had a child, and in no way am I saying that like everything is awful. But you know, I do talk to a lot of mums who do talk to me about their experience of after you've had a child, it's a very different feeling.
Yeah.
Not necessarily always positive, not necessarily always negative, but it is this relearning. Okay, straight after you've had a child, not many people can deadlift what they were deadlifting before they got pregnant, or not many people. Definitely, your core is probably suffering a little bit, and might be pelvic floor issues, stuff like that. So that's a classic example of how fitness is not linear, and you have one child and you've got to make the journey again, and you get super fit, but then you have another child.
And that is an entirely new subject, and I can't wait to talk about it.
I'm sure men have similar sorts of things but it's just that example of nothing is straightforward. We all need help from time to time.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need help.
And that is a good place to end. Next time. See ya.